Right.
Okay, new episode. This might actually be episode 200 or 201. I don't know. I'd have to
I don't
go
even care.
look at the list. I don't know, and I don't care.
Besides,
Um,
man, who the hell cares?
we were gonna just fucking leave off on tonight, but then I accidentally deleted a couple of asks, fucking
Oops.
while just clearing up the old ones. Yeah, whoopsie. One was though, what would your favorite perfect bar look like? Which sadly it already existed. I won't say the name of it, but it's gone now. It turned into a car dealership or used car dealership, I think. But it was tiny. It could only fit like 20 people max. 20 people, it would be packed, fucking packed. It had like a bar that had maybe 8 seats across, and there was not really any room for anything more than that.
A total dive bar.
Yeah, it was a real hole in the wall, tiny, just fucking old brick. It was just painted. The back of it was
Go into
painted.
too much detail about like where you could find it, but let's just say a certain paint the back like a
It
fucking
cut all of that
shop.
cut off. All of that just cut off.
I don't even know what cut off.
All of it. I assume
It
you were
was
talking about the
and
movie though that painted the back of it to look like a fucking pawn shop.
yeah.
Yeah, that I don't think that will give anything away, but yeah, it was cool though. We would go into it's like, oh, it's a pawn shop bar, but we wouldn't even call it that though. We would call it what it was actually called, which I don't know. It was just the name of like some dude.
I don't even remember the name of the place actually
I do,
because along
I do. I just won't fucking mention it, but
yeah, no.
not that even matters that way. We're if anything, we're being too paranoid. But that was perfect because it had black lights. It had a jukebox that was like fucking digital jukebox that like you put in $1 and you search on a touch screen for songs and it had thousands and thousands of songs.
I think it had like 15,000 songs.
Yeah. So it was yeah, again like an internet connection thing and it would play over the speakers and we would just fucking play all sorts of shit and get just drunk. And it was very cheap. Like they had these plastic mugs that I remember drinking out of them so much the next day, my piss smelled like plastic. And I was like, okay, I will not drink out of these anymore. Holy shit. They had stuff on tap that was just stuff. It's just like the most generic. I remember they had Shock Top Orange though, and it's like, oh, yummy, a yummy beer. But then if it was fresh enough, it would just be fucking yummy anyways. And it was just a perfect place for like 3 or 4 people to hang out and have some space. There's also like Lotto machine and the fucking Keno or
There are actually
whatever would
several of
fucking
those.
be on the
A
screens
bunch
in the
of these
background.
gambling machines. But then
Yeah.
there was like a fucking they had like a dartboard that was like plastic tip darts
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. It was like
And
a
then that
oh
was it. That's all they had space. There was not even space for a pinball machine or an arcade machine. My perfect one, though, arcade machine in it, for sure. It would have to
mhm.
be tiny. Perfect would be tiny like that. And then our arcade machine, like a MAME cabinet that would have
Yeah.
all of the fucking arcade games on it.
That reminds me of the time we went to Dave and Buster's and they straight up had like a it was like an emulator that had like it was basically like 20 or 30 old arcade games.
Oh,
Dig Dug
yeah,
and
the
Pac.
like Dig Dug though. It was like the stuff licensed by Atari, so it was approved. It wasn't really a MAME cabinet so much as a fucking official
Yeah,
Atari game
I think they
cabinet.
have to do that because it's money.
Yeah, and
They're
fucking yeah,
taking
it would
money
be
from it.
piracy otherwise. You can't charge people money to fucking even come in or whatever.
But
But
at the same time,
whatever.
it goes to show that just straight up being like, hey, fucking here, put 10 or 30 games on one
Hmm.
single system cabinet, you know.
Yeah. Some big screens that don't even have to be that big, like 30 or 40 inch, just behind the bar for fucking, like, oh, you can have something on in the background. Maybe sit at the bar and watch a movie there if you want.
I'll also admit this, and this is probably going to make me sound like kind of Spurger or sociopath or go to Dave and Buster's. They've got a lot of games.
Well,
One
they
thing
got a
that
lot of
ruins
stuff
it,
and
though is all the other
games.
people, though. It just makes me wish that fucking place was just like the of
Oh yeah, if it was abandoned, just completely empty, it would be like, there, this is for me now. That's the perfect bar, a one that's empty. I used to go to the hole in the wall one on the most off nights possible because then it's like I owned the place. And I could, because I would stay up, I would be like, I'm just gonna fucking close this place out. I'll wait until 2 and they'll boot me out and I'll play music. I'll fucking put in $1 or 2 and just have a couple beers and listen to my fucking songs that I want to listen to.
and fucking order up some popcorn.
Yeah, they had a popcorn. They had a microwave that had like, second act on it. Like it was
Act
a second
two,
act brand, fucking, or what is it? What's the
Act
popcorn
two,
brand?
Act one.
I don't
I don't
know. Yeah,
fucking
but it's
remember what
that
it's usually
fucking.
called.
For some
But it's
reason,
like
I'm
the
thinking of first act,
cheapest
and I know
shit.
it's not that.
It's the cheapest shit ever.
Yeah, but it's also reliable. And when you're drunk and at the bar listening to fucking whatever goofy ass shit, it was so good. It hit the spot in a way I've never expected in my life. Just without even any added shit to it. It just generic microwave popcorn was so good. Just hot and fresh out of the thing. They would pour it into those one of those long hot dog
They
containers
add some salt or something.
or one of those hot dog baskets or fries baskets with like a fucking wax paper under it or something. They
I
wouldn't even
remember
salt it.
once, a couple of times we actually went there when it was early enough. It was actually going the deep fryer, and we got chicken
Oh
strips.
yeah, if you went early enough, they had a couple deep fryers just off to the side, like really tiny, fucking behind the bar. And it's like, oh, get some tendies. And I remember one of them was really good, but I remember after that they like sort of deregulated the tendies, and they were really gristly and just gross. And then just fucking like you could tell they were really frozen
Not
over and
sure if
frost burned.
that's the result of the tendies being cheap or just not being cooked long enough.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea.
I don't know. I know one thing: fast food chicken is like the most touchy shit ever. If
Yeah,
you
the most
fucking
deregulated garbage
50-50
shit.
chance that'll be Gristle City.
It's why Popeye's chicken sandwiches were so good because they were just actual chicken that were actually deep fried. That's it. That's the secret. Actual deep fried chicken. It's kind of expensive. Um, Anyways, yeah, so that's Perfect Bar. And then the other one was to elaborate on why fandoms are
Also, I mean,
bad.
what kind of drinks? What if the perfect bar? What kind of drinks would we have? I probably have like I don't know.
All of
I
them.
probably won't have any hard shit. I
Well,
would
you
love
have to
to
have
have
hard shit
some.
at a bar. It's a bar, but you want to make sure you have beer on tap, of course, and then you want one of those real kegs, a big fucking keg, and then
Preferably the freshest beer and probably either Molson Triple X or Guinness.
but I mean, even just Budweiser from a keg is like, oh, it actually tastes kind of fresh. That would be nice. That's fine.
When the beer is fresh, that tends to be it's like really fucking. I remember we got that mini keg of something, and it was like super fresh, seasonal, dark fucking
Hmm.
shit. It was like drinking honey.
Yeah, it was delicious. It was so
It was
yummy. It
like
was like, oh,
manna from heaven. I never drank a beer and thought,
you thought I was talking about miracles from heaven. No, motherfucker. I'm talking about Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, the perfect bar really about to me is about atmosphere, but it's about tiny, like low ceiling Christmas lights, very
about
cheap,
atmosphere,
vague
but the
decorations, but
important,
cozy.
most important fucking element of the atmosphere, making sure there's no people that we don't know there.
Yeah, just no strangers, just us. Me, like
Evacuate
I
system.
still remember me, you, and our younger sister hanging out at the bar until like 2:30 in the morning. They were supposed to close, but we were just having a good time. We'd stopped drinking at 2, and we're like, we need to stay around to sort of taper off. So we started drinking water and just listening to music and that kind of shit. And the bartender was really cool. She was like this girl who was, I think, younger than us, but we were just hanging out, and she was like, "Oh, I want to make sure you gotta be okay to drive." I was like, "I'm pretty drunk." Fucking. So she stayed with us there and just sort of hung out, and we just had a nice time. And it was just us, four people in the entire bar, and that was really cool. All of us still remember that night quite fondly. So yeah, it's kind of about the atmosphere of like cozy and empty. I would fucking drink in a completely empty bar with no bartender if it was just that right kind of atmosphere, just small. I'd be like, "Oh, have a beer." That's what I want. I want a fucking basement that's just a bar like that size, tiny, because that's about the size of that bar. It was the size of a basement of a regular fucking house. In fact, I've been in basements that were bigger. I've been in a lot of basements that were bigger than that bar.
Very cozy.
Yes. Um, that bar did have a basement too, of course, for the storage, and it's like
Hmm.
eventually they closed down just because of so many reasons. But like it wasn't getting a lot of business as it
That's that,
was.
that is the ultimate problem, and that's a problem with my dream Dave and Buster's fucking visit is like if I go there and there's no other people there, that would be great for me. Wouldn't be so great for people running the place.
Yeah, and most likely they would be shutting down if that happened. Anyways, you do have to have liquor at least along the back with the mirror on the back and all that shit, of course, too.
That's the one thing is like on the one hand it would be like oh Daniels or some shit like that would be great. That would be the perfect dream bar. But at the same time, I'd probably have one shot and it would be heavily mixed with shit, and it would still end up it would still end up making me sick the rest of the night.
Well, I usually consider it a good way to at least get started is have a few fucking mixed drink.
Yeah, but it tends to be better for me to just not start with that at all and just start with beer and keep it to beer.
Well, that's
That's
if
what
we're
I
keeping
always
it. If
do.
that's if we're going really lightweight. But anyways, yeah, that's not really has to do with a bar, anyways.
It's just easier to sustain the fucking drunkenness.
Yeah, that's the thing. For the past like several years. I've been trying to find the perfect way to just measure it out, so I'm not getting so drunk but that I'm not getting so sick either. You have to basically start with having a full meal for sure, which we don't a lot. We just fucking eat a snack for breakfast, and then sometimes we'll just follow it with another snack. So we don't really eat meals. That's why we're not huge fat. We're not like over like 180 pounds or something. Is that we don't eat that much. But after that, then you have to eat. You start drinking like after a few hours of waking up. I can't. I actually can't do that. But then I would start with something hard and then fucking like sort of taper the rest of the night off with beer. But you have to have some kind of big ass meal after that so that you're not just subsisting off of fucking just alcohol. You want to have something in your stomach, and that's going to sort of tamp down your buzz. So you got to drink, but you still can't drink too fast and too much because then you're just gonna fucking make yourself sick. It's easy to lose track of time. It's like fucking sip. I'd just be chugging so quick because like it's been 2 hours, right? No, it's been 10 minutes. It's like oh no, I drank all that much.
Time
Anyways,
travel.
the um the other question, though, was to elaborate on why Eraserhead is our most spiritual film. No. But no,
No.
somebody wanted us to go into a little more depth, I guess. I don't know if that meant more than we have or if they just haven't seen the other videos we did about fandoms. I think a quick sum up, though, of the reason why fandoms inherently are bad is that they're groupthink. It's an absence or a lack
For me,
of independent thought, or
it's just being
groupthink is
present.
pretty much always wrong.
Just always see. I've fucking witnessed it. It's like with comic books. It's like, why do you think that all comic book fans are retarded? It's like because they are.
Yeah, it's like that. Well, actually, this leads into the next question that's still here. Is 18th of July, do you seriously believe that Comicsgate are frauds? And the answer actually is no. I don't, I don't believe, I don't think that comic book fans are retarded. I don't believe that Comicsgate are frauds. They are those things. I simply know it. There's a huge difference between believing and knowing. Believing is what everyone else does. Knowing is what we do. That's what makes us genetically superior to everyone else on the history of the entire planet. But here's the funny thing is, though, I think the next question, just to go to show, this question was not that serious. It wasn't somebody being like, do you seriously believe that Comicsgate are frauds? It wasn't actually in that tone, because the next one from the same day, like exact same thing, is the 18th of July. Do you seriously believe that lawn chairs are everywhere? And I mean, my mind does describe them to me, so that's pretty good. Do you remember the name of that band?
Was it your daughter's wedding?
It was our daughter's wedding. But I mean, you're only one word off. But it was about fandoms being bad. I think it's really summed up by the fact that fandoms are inherently groupthink, emotionally fragile, emotionally labile. A doctor might put it. Thin-skinned, inherently thin-skinned people. To be in a fandom is to, like, you don't join a fandom if you're not thin-skinned. If you're thin-skinned, or if you're thick-skinned, if you're fucking, if you got some real balls, fandoms aren't even a thing that occurs to you. You don't have that gene in you that makes you want to be a fan of something. You may like something, appreciate it, be, well, that's the thing. Fan has just come to mean somebody who likes something, but it really doesn't, and it shouldn't, because then we don't have the word for the psycho fucking whiny faggot who chooses to die on every fucking bump in the ground. Regarding something that doesn't matter, usually childish, low IQ entertainment like superhero comics. That's why, again, it's not us. It's not like we believe that. It's that it is that we simply know it. We are aware of it. We observe it objectively. And what we're really doing is pointing it out. So I think that fucking sums that up in a way. But we could go into more depth about it, but that sums it all up. That's it. That's the end of it. That's everything. And we've done it in the past, and we can continue doing it, pointing it out in the future. But it's like everything we've made videos about has proved what we've said objectively and quantifiably. The same way that if you pour water into a cup, you've proven that water is in that cup now. It's just completely right out in the open. It's quantifiable. It's measurable. 25th of July, would this be a good webcomic entry if it counts as a comic? And it's a link to someone's Twitter, which, again, I can't fucking open a new tab. Nothing happens. It doesn't let me right-click either. When I right-click, it's back, forward, save as, print, cast, QR code, Brave, email, page link. So I can look at that later, though. Here's another one, 29th of July. Why are you gay? G-A-E. I don't know.
Gay as in short for Gaelic, which means you're Irish.
We're not Irish. I guess that's the answer to that.
I'm not a potato N-word.
Yes. Speaking of N-words, 30th of July, why don't you and your brother get along with Tank anymore? Which, this was probably the same person who sent that fucking same one from months ago.
We never answered it.
But again, it's entirely on him. That's entirely on Tank, or Stank, as he's really called.
Giga Stank.
Yeah, that's entirely his decision. We legitimately, quantifiably don't care about it. We fucking, we goof on him, and it's like, hey, we would fucking let him back in. We would be cool with him if he was able to do that. But thing is, he has a lot of problems, and you could ask him, but you won't get a straight answer from him. He's always evasive about it. And he usually, in fact, will make up a lie that's very obviously false. Like he'll be like, "Oh, those guys were stalking me," and it's like, "I didn't even follow you on Twitter for the
They
past
desperately
several
want us to.
years." Um,
They wish that we would.
yeah, that's the thing. Tank, there's something wrong with Tank. That's why. That answers the question. Why don't we get along with him? Because there's something wrong with him, and it's entirely his decision. And I don't think
It's
he can help himself.
and he's also Swedish.
Yeah, there's that too. But that's the reason why he can't help himself, not why we can't be cool with him or get along with him. We could get along with him no problem if he would just stop being Swedish all the time about it. Um, August 1st. So we're actually getting up to last month. Is it possible for you? Eluded Wolf says, Is it possible for you to review a comic that my cousin co-create with business partner? It called Simptagion, and then there's a link to a stash link, which I don't fucking know if that's actually a link to the comic. I could try it later, but I can't click
Like
on
a
it now.
draw.
But yeah, again, this is more for like a suggestion because we always say, hey, we'll plug a comic or look it over. But I don't know,
You want to
maybe.
be able to review comics. I have no problem with reviewing comics.
The thing is that we may not get to it, and we may be honest, and you don't want that. Um, that happens constantly. Anyways, here's another one for the SWC Weekly. I think this would be a good candidate for the good web comic. This account does cute anime girl and childhood friend crush comics without text, telling a story visually very quickly. And there's a link to a Twitter. See, here's the thing: if you want to really link to something, if it's on Twitter, link to the Twitter. Don't fucking go for like short, tiny URL or whatever. It's just not a good idea. I will click on something if it's a Twitter thing because I know it's just on Twitter. I know it's not going to be some goofy bullshit that's going to be like, what's this fucking link? What's this going to be like? What's this about? Because if it's a short link, like I don't know what stash is. I forgot. It may be something I'm familiar with. I don't know. But it's like I don't like these URL shorteners because there's no point to them anymore. Anyways, that's actually all of them. So it was about 20 minutes. So that's a
All
good
right.
place to wrap up. And again, if you want to link to or ask us a question, do whatever. If you want to link us to a comic you want us to look at, perhaps we will consider it. If you link on our um,
I don't think we'd be able to do it during the show that we read asks, but we could at least
no,
put the link aside and check on it later.
yeah, we can do that, and especially for the Shitty Webcomics Weekly. So we can, in fact, that seems to be what happened. So we'll do that. We'll check out some other stuff. Shitty Webcomics Weeklies every week too. Um, we'll post these ones publicly, I guess, because we kind of have to. But the this is all because of our backing on Subscribestar. Again, if we had more backing, we would do more videos like this on Subscribestar. Just $1 a month, and you get access to secret videos that no one else is allowed to see. So check that out. On like, share, re-comment, unsubscribe, and should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.